Namaste, my witchlings. Welcome. There we go. Hey, Andrea, how are we doing tonight? I am really, really excited, which sounds horrible to say, but I'm really, really, really excited to address tonight's topic. Because it's kind of important. I am. My hair is starting to frizz out again, so I just threw a scarf on. It was actually part of this month's Mindful Souls box. I'm so happy. Squeak, squeak. Something's squeaking here. Okay. He's playing with stuff on the computer, so being patient. Good. Pick my foot up. I have actually veiled off and on over the years for various different reasons. I like the idea. And the fact that the Navy beat into me, always wear a hat. Always wear a cover. Take it off when you're in the galley. Come to find out that's partly because the galley doubles as the morgue when the ship is underway. So, yeah. Yeah. Some habits just don't go away. Grabbing something behind my laptop. There we go. I know. I hate it when the weather changes and I get that dry skin on my elbow that hurts, cracks, and itches all at the same time. So I gotta fight with it today. Oh, man. The joys of living in cold weather country. Took the dogs out, since it's just us'ns right now. Took the dogs out, and that wind is just brutal. Oh my gosh. It was so not fun. And then I'm getting ready to take the dogs out. Because I have a specific pair of sweats, a sweatsuit that I will throw on over whatever I'm wearing to take the dogs out. It is my dog walking outfit because it's warmer. I had the shirt in here and the pants were in the bedroom. So I hobble over to the bedroom to grab the pants. Fuzzbutt's curled up on the blankets that sit in front of the dressers for pet beds. And just as I'm leaning over to pet him and say hi, Luna comes in and decides to be a bitch and bounce on him. And I'm like, you fucking bitch, I was about to pet him. And she just looks at me and grins. She's laying right here right now. Oh, gee, that person looks slightly familiar. Oh. Oh, that would be me. Okay, never mind. I'm like, oh, we gained another viewer. Nope, that would be me. All right, gonna give it a couple more minutes. See if anybody else pops in to join us. I don't think anybody is, so it's just us. Just a little one. I mean, I know I have multiple personalities, but damn, they're popping up in my chat, too. That was a really bad joke. That's true. I have actually had someone clone my account. And that was kind of interesting. They popped into my live stream with my account. And I'm like, excuse you? Yeah, with my name and my picture. And it was like the grainy and Yeah. I swear, the next time something like that happens, I'm gonna start asking them questions that you know, if they know me well enough, they should, you know, they'd know the answers to. Yeah, just name and picture. Just my name and my picture. Yeah, they were going to try to spread nastiness in my name and claim it was me, and I'm like, yeah, no, not playing that. So yeah. All right. Nope, nobody else is popping in. So yeah, this one actually is my other channel, which is where this particular show streams to as well. So yeah, we're having fun here tonight. Oh, I need to do a quick check. Let Aspen know that I am not ignoring them. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that could be part of it. No promotion for tonight's show. Yep. So, we're going to have fun tonight, though. Got some really wonderful references here tonight to my life, and I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm breathing okay, at least. That's a yay right now. Yay. All right. Quick scroll, see if anything interesting. Yeah, I'm a little unnerved. We usually have at least... Yeah. Our topic and subject is news and politics instead of what it normally is. People don't like me ranting about politics for some reason. All right. Let's get going. We've been hanging out. Yep, we've been hanging out for 10 minutes and ain't nobody coming in, so I guess it's time to get going. What? Oh, goodness gracious griefus. All right. So, just so you guys know, parental content warning, I swear like the sailor I once was, there's a reason the title of this podcast is Bitchin Witch. Because this witch is about to bitch. And also, you will mind your manners. You will be respectful in my chat. Elsewise, Arnold and the mods will be finding you with the man hammer.
Hasta la vista, baby.
We will be facilitating you getting the fuck out of my chat. So, namaste, my witchlings. Welcome one and all the fuck back to Bitchin Witch. We are live. This is the space where we stir truth into the cauldron, season it with a wee bit of magic, and light that shit on fire. It's when it needs to burn. I am your favorite yoga witch, Di, yogini, witch, mama, loudmouth, and your friendly neighborhood feminist with a foul mouth and a heart of gold. And tonight, oh baby, we are diving headfirst into the cauldron of governmental bullshit. So we are talking about the shutdown, the frozen snap benefits, and the completely, utterly tone-deaf, reality-detached claim that only Democrats use programs like SNAP and Social Security. Take a wild guess who said that. Yeah, that one made me want to throw my mala beads across the fucking room and punch my monitor in the face. So, go ahead one and all, grab your mug, your joint, your bowl, your whiskey, whatever your potion of choice is tonight. I'm working on Dr. Pepper and moving to 7-Up Shirley Temple when I'm done. light your damn candle, maybe a stick of incense if you're feeling fancy schmancy. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale, let that fire fill your belly. Exhale and blow out that bullshit. Whoo, because witchlings, this one's gonna get heated. Because we are not sugarcoating a goddamn thing tonight. We are not watering this shit down for delicate ears or constitutions. We are calling this shit exactly as it is. So, how the fuck did I do that? Anyway, you have seen the headlines. You have seen the smug tweets or truths. The same politicians who can't go 10 fucking minutes without reminding us how pro-family and pro-God they are, just shut down the God's damned government, and now they're holding food hostage to score political points. They're standing there in their $1,000 suits, pointing at struggling families and saying, if they really wanted to eat, they'd just go out and get a job. Excuse me while I scream into the motherfucking void for a minute. Because here's the thing, my darlings, my dears, my witchlings, most people on Snap are already employed. They're the people bagging your groceries, serving your coffee, cleaning your office, and, well, wiping your grandma's ass in the nursing homes. They're the ones showing up, doing the grind, and still not making it up to keep their lights on because this fucking country worships profit over people. And now, these same fucking assholes have the absolute gall and audacity to say only Democrats use food stamps? Bitch, hunger doesn't check your voter registration card. Gonna hit record. There we go. All right. This is a struggle I am firsthand familiar with. My family has been through the ringer for over 4 decades, pushing 5 at least. Me personally, I grew up on food stamps and government cheese, and before my oldest was even born, mind you, that is 28 years ago now, for those counting and curious, we were on Snap and WIC. And let me tell you something. This is the one that gets me. There is a WIC office in the basement of Naval Hospital San Diego, the same freaking hospital where all 3 of my children were born. And that alone right there tells you everything you need to know. You've got military spouses, the people literally married to the service, people holding it down at home while our partners deploy, who are terrified to apply for benefits because their sponsors are afraid it'll make them look bad to their commands. So we skip meals, we stretch formula. We do without because somewhere someone decided that asking for help makes you look weak. Woof. Hate that. And let me say this one loud and clear. Fuck that noise. Fuck that noise. Asking for help does not make you look weak. It does not make you weak. And there have been maybe 6 months in the entire 28 years that I've been a wife and mom when there wasn't at least one able-bodied adult in our home working. As far as the entire 47 years of my life, about the same. 6 months. And those 6 months, we were moving from the southern end of the West Coast to the northern end of the West Coast, moving cross states, starting over and trying to rebuild from the ground up. And every other time that we have been reliant on government benefits, we have had at least one person in the house working full time, and it still wasn't enough. That is not laziness. That right there, my darlings, my dears, my friends, is the reality of a system built and intended to keep working people desperate. On the rare occasions that we made too much to qualify for SNAPs, we relied heavily on the local food bank to help us make ends meet. And you know how fucking heartbreaking it is to stand in line next to people that I know from my kids' schools, you know, that their kids are in the same class as mine, pretending I'm there to volunteer because I am way too ashamed to admit that I need help from the bank. Yeah, that's not good. Now, food banks were already underfunded when SNAP was fully funded. Now, oh, damn, they are being pushed to and past the fucking breaking points. And while those shelves empty out, the people in charge are busy giving interviews about fiscal responsibility. Hee hee hee. Fiscal responsibility, my fat white ass. You cannot balance the budget on the backs of hungry children. Okay, let's take a breath. Not because we're calming down. No, fuck that shit. But because we need to stay centered in this particular file. So inhale, feeling the heat in your chest. Exhale and let it sharpen you, not scorch. This isn't just about rage. It's about righteous, grounded, purpose-filled fury. Okay? This show, Bitchin Witch, isn't just about me yelling into the mic and into the camera while I'm looking at y'all. It's us, all of us, the coven, gathering to say enough. We're the modern witches, the sacred troublemakers who make good trouble, and the ones who take no shit and give every ounce of compassion we've got. We don't let injustice slide by because it's politics. We call it what it is, cruelty dressed up as policy. And when cruelty becomes law, resistance becomes sacred. So tonight, my darlings, my dears, my beloveds, my witchlings, we are going to talk about what SNAP really is, who it helps, and why cutting it the fuck off isn't about saving money, it is about control. We are going to rip apart the myths like only Democrats rely on help. We are going to talk about veterans, service families, kids, elders, disabled, all the people who hold this country together, while the folks up there in charge in frickin' DC hoard everything at the top. Those 2%ers. And yeah, witchlings, we gonna swear, we gonna laugh, might even cry because hi, this witch cries at everything because this shit hits way too fucking close to home. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that we all need to remember. We are not powerless. That is what they want us to believe, that we can't change anything, that this is just how it is. I call bullshit. Where's my flag? You know what? This witch waves the bullshit flag. We are witches. We are healers. We are doers and dreamers and damn fine truth tellers. And every spell we cast, every meal we share, every voice we raise is fucking rebellion. So, light your candle. Take your seat in the circle. Breathe in that sacred rage. Let that shit rise. Let it remind you that compassion is not weakness. It is the fiercest magic there is. Because tonight, my witchlings, we're not bitching just for the sake of it. We are bitching for justice. We are bitching for survival. We are bitching for every soul who's ever been told they don't deserve to eat. So yeah, get comfy, top off your coffee, your bowl, your whatever, because this is Bitchin Witch Live, and it is time to start fucking bitching. I'm going to take a sip. How I didn't pour that down my front, I don't know. We're doing good. All right, my witchlings. Now that we've lit the damn candles and blown off the bullshit steam, let's actually set the stage for what's a-happening here. You're good. No worries. There we go. All right. Here's the deal, my witchlings. The United States government, yes, the biggest, loudest, richest government on the face of the earth, has once again managed to trip over its own fucking dick and shut itself the fuck down. Why? Because Congress can't agree on how to spend money that, spoiler alert, belongs to us. They didn't pass the new fiscal year budget before October 1st, so now the lights are off, the doors are locked, and millions of federal workers are either sitting at home unpaid or showing up anyway because essential somehow means you still have to work, but we ain't gonna pay you. What the fuck? And hovering in the middle of all that chaos are the programs that actually keep people alive, like SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, more commonly known as food stamps. And let's make this absolutely crystal fucking clear. SNAP is not a handout for freeloaders. It is the literal reason that tens of millions of kids, seniors, disabled folks, and hard-working poor families eat anything at all. But, because our leaders decided to play political chicken, the USDA is saying, oops, sorry, no new appropriations, no benefits. Translation, we could help you, but we'd rather make a point. Excuse me. Carbonation talking back. Okay, now, y'all, here is where it gets extra disgusting, frustrating, and off-pissing. Instead of scrambling to fix it, politicians are out there slinging blame like monkeys throwing shit at the zoo. Republicans are yelling, Democrats refuse a clean bill. Democrats are yelling, Republicans are holding the government hostage to gut health care and trans rights. And the rest of us are standing in grocery store lines watching the price of bread and eggs climb faster than our paychecks thinking, what directly the fuck? This ain't a football game. Nobody wins when the government scores points. Alright, every single fucking time they shut this thing down, regular people bleed for it. Federal employees don't get paid. National parks close. Tribal health services stalled. DV shelters, domestic violence shelters, they lose grant funding. And now, thanks to this new fresh fucking hell, 40 plus million Americans are being told their grocery money might not show up at all. Let me read you the fine print from the USDA memo. The contingency fund may not be used to support regular SNAP benefits because the appropriation for regular benefits no longer exists. Are you fucking kidding me? You fucking kidding me? They are saying they legally can't feed people unless Congress gives them explicit permission. I'm so frustrated, I'm tripping over my tongue. They're saying they legally cannot feed people unless Congress gives them explicit permission, even though there's $5 billion sitting in a backup fund for exactly this kind of emergency. That's like standing next to a bucket of water while your neighbor's house is on fire and saying, well, technically, this bucket wasn't budgeted for that address. And while this bureaucratic fuckery unfolds, the narrative machine is working overtime. You got talking heads out there going, only Democrats use these programs. Bitch, please. I have seen EBT cards in the hands of registered Democrats, registered Republicans, and independents, and I see them all over the place in red counties and blue counties alike. Hunger does not check your voter registration card, my friends. You know who uses SNAP? Do you know who uses SNAP? Moms, dads, grandparents, foster parents, veterans, active fucking duty military families, and every single exhausted service industry worker who keeps this goddamn country functioning while politicians play dress up with the fucking economy. If you're familiar with country music, imagine all of the people that Alabama sings about in their song 40-Hour Week. Most of them are probably surviving off food stamps. The average monthly benefit per person, around about $200. That's barely a week's worth of groceries, and they're acting like it's a fucking beachfront house in Miami. Or Maui. Sorry, wrong M. Barely a week's worth of groceries, and they're acting like we're going out and buying beachfront property in fucking Hawaii. Let's also talk about the sheer hypocrisy of the get a job crowd. They love to preach about the dignity of work until you actually work and still can't afford to eat. 60% of SNAP households with a working age adult are already employed while receiving benefits. I am going to repeat that. 60% of SNAP qualifying households have at least one working member of the family working full time. 86% have earnings at some point during the year. That is not laziness. That is survival in a system that pays starvation fucking wages. And then there are the elders on fixed incomes, the disabled folks who can't work, and the kids. Nearly 40% of SNAP recipients are children. So, sure, let me go tell my 3-year-old grandchild that they need to go get a job so that mommy and daddy can afford to feed them. If you can look a hungry kid in the face and call cutting their dinner off fiscal responsibility, you seriously need an exorcism, not a fucking platform. Here's what the shutdown really does. It takes the most basic human need, food, and turns it into leverage. It's not about balancing the budget. It's about control. It's about reminding poor and working class people that their survival depends on the mercy of people who have never skipped a motherfucking meal in their God's damned lives. And I'm sick of being dependent on that. They want us scared. They want us desperate, because desperate people don't organize. But witches, we organize like hell. We feed each other. We show up at food banks, soup kitchen, mutual aid networks, and we remind the world that empathy is far stronger than greed. And let me say this, my witchlings, because you know it's important, and I know you are tired. I know we are all tired. I know some of you listening right now are sitting there right now counting how many days you could stretch what's left in the pantry and the cupboard and the fridge. I know that so many of us have been here before and swore never, ever, ever again would we be back, but here we are staring down yet another government shutdown. I see you. I've been you. That right there, my loves, is why I do this show. Because the system runs on the hope that we are going to stay quiet, that we'll be too embarrassed to say we're struggling, that we'll just swallow the lie that hunger equals failure. Fuck that. Fuck that. We are not ashamed to survive. We are proud to stand together, and we are proud to say feeding people is sacred work. So, as we move through tonight's episode, please remember this. We are not powerless spectators. We are the cauldron. And when the fire gets too hot, we don't run. We stir. Take a breath with me again. We're going to do a lot of breathing tonight, because if I remind you to do it, I'll do it myself. So take another breath with me. Inhale. Hold for a moment. Exhale. Let that fire in your belly settle into focus. Because in the next segment, we're going to peel back the numbers and the spin, and we're going to talk about what's actually happening to real families, military, working class, disabled, and elderly. We're going to talk about what it looks like when the government decides that your dinner is optional. And yeah, we're going to swear a bit more, because, hi, sugarcoating starvation ain't compassion, it is cowardice. So stick with me, grab a refill, stretch your shoulders, take a breath. When we come back, we are getting personal. We're talking about what SNAP really means, what WIC really supports, and why the fuck feeding people should never be a partisan issue. God, I could use one of my pens right now. All right. Let's talk about what this shit actually looks like. Because it is one thing to scream about policy and fiscal cliffs, and another to stare at your pantry or your fridge at 10 o'clock at night, wondering if ramen noodles and peanut butter counts as dinner again. SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is not just some mythical welfare monster. It is the reason more than 40 million Americans are getting to eat. It's groceries. It's formula. It's the backup when school lunches stop. It is the line between we're hungry and we're going to be okay. And now the USDA said, oops, can't fund that. Sorry, good luck out there. $5 billion sitting idle in a contingency fund while they clutch their pearls over legal wording. Fuck that noise. Here's what they don't say on cable news. SNAP is one of the most efficient, least fraud-ridden programs that the federal government runs. Every dollar spent generates nearly $2 in local economic activity. Cutting it off doesn't just starve households, it strangles communities. Who's on it? Not the caricatures from campaign ads. We're going to get real numbers here. So, nearly 40% of SNAP beneficiaries are kids. 20% are seniors. People like me with disabilities are another 10%. Most recipients cannot work. Okay? And most of those who can, 60% already do, often at 2 or 3 underpaid jobs. Do you realize that there are still states in this country where if an employee is working a tipped job, the state says that they can pay them less than minimum wage because they assume that those tips are going to bump them up to minimum wage? This means that there are people working jobs down in the South particularly making 1 or 2 less than $5 an hour when the national minimum wage is like $7.25. Ridiculous. So, the next time some motherfucking jackass online cheers that lazy people won't get handouts from the government, picture a 7-year-old eating dry cereal for dinner because that handout didn't hit the card. Now let's make it real. My family has danced with this system for almost 3 decades, just since I've been a wife and mother. Before my oldest was born, and I just told this earlier, 27 years ago, we were on WIC. And there is a fucking WIC office in the basement of Naval Hospital San Diego where all 3 of my kids were born. That is not symbolism, my friends. That is a neon sign flashing. Military families need help too. You would think that those keeping the home fires burning while our spouses deploy wouldn't have to worry about buying groceries. Wrong. Many of us qualified for SNAP or WIC, but we stayed silent out of fear. Fear that our sponsors command would find out, that it would threaten clearances, that they would be labeled unable to provide. That can get you kicked out. So we stretched, we hustled, we made do. In 28 years, there have been maybe 6 months total when no adult in my household was working, and that was mid-move. Most of the time, we earned just enough to be told that we made too much for help, but not actually enough to, survive. When SNAP didn't cover it, the food bank did. And let me tell you, those angels, those wonderful, amazing people were already running on fumes before all of these cuts. Every single food bank director in America is lying awake right now doing math. How many families can we feed when the shelves are already half, 3/4 empty? That's why me, personally, I'm walking my happy witchy ass down there this week with a box or a bag of whatever we will not eat and a few hours of labor to spare. Because feeding people is my love language and it's one of my favorite spells. It's how I say, I see you and I love you. Every meal dropped on a neighbor's porch, every grocery bag slipped into a friend's trunk, that is magic in motion for me. So yeah, I'll donate what I can, but most importantly, I'm gonna show up. And I want you guys to do it too. If money's tight, and God's know it is for all of us, give time instead. Go down to the food bank, stock shelves, hand out boxes, smile at the next person in line who is bone tired, soul weary. Organize a food drive, and don't forget the furry family members. Because when we can't afford to feed ourselves, we can't afford to feed our furry children either. And that, my witchlings, is how we keep the cauldron full. That is how we win. Because while the politicians play Grinch up on Capitol Hill, we're the Who's down in Whoville, banging our drums and feeding each other anyway. Let's pull back for a second. They are gaslighting the public, pretending that cutting food benefits teaches responsibility. As if starvation is motivational. As if kids can bootstrap their way to fucking dinner. Newsflash! People do not get more self-sufficient when you take away their bread money. They get desperate. They pawn their stuff, skip meals, take out predatory payday loans. Then, these same fucking politicians clutch their Bibles upside down and talk about family values. If that's your idea of values, I'm going to take my witchcraft any fucking day. And here's the truth. Here's the truth, my friends. Even if every able-bodied person on Snap landed a better paying job tomorrow, it would not fix the core problem. Wages that don't match the cost of living. We have not raised the minimum wage in tandem with the cost of living. Housing is obscene. Childcare is a fucking joke. Medical bills devour paychecks and throw people into fucking bankruptcy. SNAP is a band-aid on a wound that they keep very deliberately slicing back open. So when they say freezing benefits will inspire people to work, what they really mean is we want y'all scared enough to take any job for any wage. It is exploitation wrapped in a flag. So let this particular truth ring in your ears before we move on. Food is not a reward for good behavior. Food is not partisan. Food is fucking sacred. And when someone decides who gets to eat and who doesn't, that's spiritual violence. And that is why we're fired up right now. This isn't just a policy failure. It's fucking moral bankruptcy. So here's your homework, my friends, before we hit the next breathwork break. Feed someone this week. Literally or metaphorically. Drop off groceries. Make a pot of chili to share. Share a meal with friends. Share a laugh, a moment of just relief. Because every act of nourishment is rebellion. Every full belly is a middle finger to the systems that want us hungry and divided. We take care of each other because absolutely nobody else is coming to do it for us. That's the witch's way, my friends. All right. Go refill your cup, take a stretch, take a deep breath, and when we come back, we're going to turn all of this fury into some action. Because this is where our community, our coven, and when one of us is attacked, we all roll initiative. And I'm going to drink. Oh. All right. Whew. How are we doing out there? Take a breath. Somebody has been out there begging for food. Yep. Hey, Mike. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Yes. Oh, John's here with us. Hello. Insomnia is a bitch. This is a topic very near and dear to my heart because, as I've said, I grew up on food stamps and government cheese and dog milk or powdered milk, and yeah. All right, y'all. It's time for our next breath. I'm gonna adjust my ass in the chair. Take a breath with me. We're going. Yep. We are going to inhale through the nose, keeping that deep into that fiery belly. That's been burning since we started this. Now hold it. Exhale, slow, steady, like you're blowing dust off a spell you've just remembered. All right, that's better. My nose is itchy. All right, see? Everything we've been bitching about tonight, it's not just politics. It is energy. It's vibration. As above, so below isn't just a catchy slogan on my coffee mug. It is the law of resonance. What happens in the halls of power, Congress, the White House, your local city council, echoes all the way down to your dinner table. Every vote, every fucking budget cut, every smug ass speech ripples outward until it hits our kitchens, our wallets, our bellies. But here's the flip side that the bastards in power always forget. That current runs both ways. When systems fracture, when greed rots the roots, community mends the web. We act with compassion down here, and the vibration travels up. Every shared meal, every food drive, every whispered prayer for someone else's survival, it shakes the foundation of the tower built on indifference. That, my loves, is magic. That is the kind of spell they cannot legislate away, my witchlings. All right, short little visualization, so close your eyes for a second, unless you are driving. Then keep them fuckers open. Picture yourself, visualize yourself sitting in your kitchen or your dining room. Doesn't matter if it's spotless or messy, if the counters are granite or peeling laminate. This is your temple. The stove, your altar. Every meal you cook, every dish you wash, every blessing you whisper into a simmering pot is part of the oldest religion there is. Care. Now, in your mind's eye, see a golden light spiraling from your solar plexus. That's your power center, your personal sun. It spins slow and steady, a molten, living light. Let it stretch outward through your ribs, your arms, your fingertips, and spilling out into the room. Let it reach the walls, floor, the street, the houses around you, until it touches every empty plate in your neighborhood. Whisper with me. May all be nourished. May all be seen. May all be fed in body, in heart, in hope. That's not just poetry. That is spell work in action. That's energy. That's energy transference. That's feeding the world one breath at a time. You can open your eyes now, by the way. The church might call it prayer. Activists might call it solidarity. We call it witchcraft because we know intention changes matter. When I talk about feeding people being my love language, this is the spiritual anatomy of that truth. Food isn't just calories, it's frequency. Cooking is energetic alchemy. When I stir a pot, I'm not just combining ingredients. I am weaving safety and belonging into every fucking spoonful. When I feed someone, I'm saying you exist, you matter. You are still part of the web. And that's why starvation, whether physical or spiritual, is such a violent act. It cuts people out of the web. It tells them they're unworthy of connection. That's why this fight matters on a soul level. Because every policy that denies people food is a fucking curse. And we, witchlings, we are the ones who unmake curses. When I was studying the Yoga Sutras, my instructor used to say that ahimsa, non-harming, isn't just about not killing things. It's about actively choosing to nurture life wherever you can. That means calling bullshit when someone uses bureaucracy as a weapon again. That means seeing the divine in the hungry, the sick, the poor, and not just the polished or the pious. We can't all march on Washington every week, but we can all bless a meal. We can feed a neighbor. We can light a candle and send strength to the one standing in those food stamp lines. That's sacred service. That is activism with incense and F-bombs. My kind of service. Because if the macrocosm is diseased, the microcosm, us, becomes the medicine. Remember, witchlings, you're not just one person screaming into the void. You are part of a coven, a web of souls doing the same work in kitchens and cars and cubicles everywhere. Every time you refuse to go numb, every time you choose empathy instead of apathy, you strengthen the web. You feed it light. That's why I say the revolution starts in the kitchen. That's where the magic lives. That's where policy meets practice. And that is where witches rebuild. And that is where witches rebuild the world from the crumbs up. And don't forget yourself in that web, my witchlings. You are also someone who deserves to be fed in body, in heart, in hope. Do not martyr yourself for the movement. Burning out isn't holy. It's just another form of silence. Rest is rebellion. Joy is rebellion. Full bellies, full hearts, and full nights of sleep are how we piss off the patriarchy. So, when you sit down to your next meal, whether it's homemade soup or drive-through fries, make it a ritual. Bless it. Say thank you. Taste the miracle in it. That is how we honor the sacred, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. As above, so below means this. The universe is watching what we do with our power. And when the powers that be use theirs to harm, we counter with creation. We feed, we heal, we bless, we bitch, and then we build again. That's the sacred cycle. So keep your cauldrons warm and your hearts hotter. Every meal shared, every volunteer hour, every whispered blessing, it all counts. That's our rebellion, our prayer, our revolution in real time. And if anyone ever asks what witches do, tell them, we feed the world. Time for another sip. Oops. All right. Yep. I believe you are correct, John. All right. Witchlings. Sorry. His timing was perfect. All right. Whew. All right, witchlings. Our fire has burned hot tonight. The cauldron has done its work. We've stirred truth and fury and grief and love until they all bled and blend into one another, until the lines blurred and all that was left was the pulse of what's real. That's the thing about magic, though. It's never clean. It's messy and it's raw and it burns your fingers and heals your heart all in the same breath. And that's what I want to leave you with tonight. Not answers, not closure, just the reminder that you're still here, still breathing, still part of something bigger than the bullshit. The world is heavy, my loves. We know that. But the point of this path, this witch's road that we walk, isn't to escape the heaviness. It's to hold it, to transmute it, to find beauty in the God's damned ashes. We are the daughters and sons and spirits of survivors. We come from the ones who refused to bow, who cooked through famines, who found herbs in the cracks of an empire, and who made magic out of hunger and hope. We are their continuation. We are the rebellion in their blood. So when the world tries to convince you that caring is naive, that empathy is weakness, that rage is unbecoming, remember this moment. Remember this circle. Remember that fire in your chest right now. That's holy. That is sacred. And that is power the system cannot quantify, nor can it control. Tonight, I want you all to close your eyes for just a second. Not for a ritual, not for a spell, just to feel. Let your breath settle into a rhythm. And remember, you're not alone. Not now, not ever. Wherever you are right now, in your kitchen, your car, your bed, your back porch with a smoke and a hope, I'm right there with you. And it's not just me. Every witch, every soul, every hungry, hopeful human tuning in tonight, we're all holding the same heartbeat. That's coven. That's communion. That is the realest kind of magic there is. There's a quote I scribbled into a journal years ago from some dusty, crusty old mystic that I don't even remember. To feed another is to remember God. And whether or not you believe in God, gods, or whatever, that line hits, doesn't it? Because when we feed, we remember what's holy about being human. We remember the pulse that connects us. We remember that love isn't theory, it's practice. That's what tonight has been, my loves. Practice. Love in practice. Magic in motion. The act of giving a flying fuck, even when the world dares us not to. So I want to offer a blessing. Not a quiet, polite one, but the kind that grabs your soul by the collar and says, "Wake the fuck up, you magnificent creatures!" May your fire never dim, but may it burn clean. May your rage stay righteous and your compassion stay fierce. May your table be full, your heart even fuller. May you never mistake survival for shame or kindness for weakness. May your words cut through lies like blades of light. May your hands always know what to do, whether that's stirring soup, holding a friend, or flipping the bird at injustice. May you find softness in the arms of those who get it and strength in the reflection of your own damned resilience. May your magic be messy, your laughter loud, and your hope relentless. And when the night gets dark, as it always does, may you remember that the moon still rises, and so do you. You, my witchlings, are the light in this long dark. You are the warmth when systems go cold. You are the reason I keep showing up behind this mic and in front of this camera, week after week, day after day, swearing into the void and finding the void, cussing and swearing right back in harmony. This is what community sounds like. This is what spell work feels like. And bloody fucking hell is it beautiful. So, oh, excuse me. So, before we close our circle, please do me a favor. One last little act of rebellion tonight. Tell someone you love them. Right now. Send a text. Call them. Shout it out the window. I don't give a flying fuck. Because tomorrow is not promised. And no spell is stronger than spoken love. Let your people know they matter while they can still hear you. And if no one has told you today, let me be the one. You are loved. You are wanted. You are needed exactly as you are. Messy and magnificent and maybe a little bit unhinged. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever, ever, ever let the motherfucking bastards make you doubt it. All right, my loves. The fire's low. Cauldron is cooling. And it's time to close this bitchin' circle. So go out there and spread love, spread joy, and spread kindness. There's already enough darkness in this world. Let's each be a God's damned lantern. Be sure your loved ones know their importance in your life, no matter the form they take. And until next time, witchlings, keep your fire sacred and your soup simmering. And always, always remember, you are loved. You are wanted. You are needed. And there is a reason you are here. As always, namaste, my witchlings.